Okay.
Is that all chain then?
So this is Susie's, what do you call it, Susie?
What is
Creation.
It's
Planet.
Susie's creation.
What is it? What is it?
brain?
What do you
It
call
was a brain, it's not anymore because we don't need it.
Susie calls it the brain.
Yes, now it's just the hanging thing.
It's a hanging thing
Sculpture.
now.
Oh,
All
thank you.
chain and slip stitch, which is
All
absolutely
chain and slip
amazing.
stitch. There's a bit of this corally stuff in it.
Starting with
I couldn't.
coral
do that.
I couldn't.
You
and then
can.
adding all the
I tried.
bits.
I couldn't
No,
do
It's
it.
amazing.
I was getting my hair
Thank
out.
you,
No,
Susie.
you really can.
Well, we're back. I set you up so that I'm in my chair, and hopefully, I think I've got a much better light coming from this angle. So that's quite good. We'll see if we can press on. I'm going to do a bit of a recap, really, from what I was doing on the other videos. If you haven't watched this is a sort of follow-up video. First of all, I'll show you how I was getting on with my work in progress. I was making a boat, wasn't I? So this is the boat here. It's not finished, there's bits of yarn hanging down, but you can see that I've put a bit more sea in now, and I've got some sand and the shore at the other side. I'm hoping that this bit here is going to be a tree trunk. So I don't know really where it's going. It seems to be, this is the nice thing I think about doing a sort of free-form approach. If you put too many bridges in, it starts to curve, and that's why a lot of these headbands naturally curve. Let's have a look at them. It naturally curves that way, and that's because of the if they weren't bridges, they would be simply straight. Two rows would be straight next to each other, but because there are bridges, then it can curve. What's happening to this piece then, if you look at it, so this piece then, the C, look at the bottom, is curved to start with, so the rest of it is beginning to go outwards. And I think this is what makes it a piece of art as opposed to something it sort of evolves, and I'm happy with that. If you wanted it to be straight around the sides and do it like that, that's fine. But I think you'll find it's harder to do it to keep it straight. I like to let it evolve and go the way it wants to go. And because this piece is going to be very much a sample of what you can do rather than a piece for the wall, I've just finish my ends up. I'm a bit lazy really, but I like to finish my ends up like this, leave ends and then plait them, so it just gives it my if you like, my signature. But if you want to do that too, we'll know who's taught you how to do it, won't we? So that's my work in progress. We'll perhaps come back to that another time with my boat, hopefully coming into shore, and we'll see how it evolves. So that's that. And I talked a little bit yesterday when I was doing this. I talked a little bit about making variegated yarn, and I just happened to find this ball, and it's a really nice way to especially with children to do it. And they've got quite a bit of green yarn here, but then suddenly it changes to orange, and then you've got that knot there. You can leave it if you like. That can become a feature of the work. You don't have to cut them short, but if you want to, it's because it's a reef knot, which is right over left and left over right. When I was in the brown, my mum was a brown owl, would you believe? And when I was a little brownie, she taught us how to do a reef knot. She said, if you do it like this, the knot will never come undone. So you cut the bits short as you like, really, and you'll find that it shouldn't come undone. Could even make them even shorter than that, so you can hardly see them in your work. And I use that method quite a bit. You can see it carries on until it gets the next colour. But if you make this ball of yarn beforehand, it's quite fun to use because you never know when it's going to change. Or you could start doing another element, and that's another way of doing things. If you're going backwards and forwards with one colour and suddenly it changes, then you might go up and down with that colour, or round the other side with that colour, and then keep going. So it's a good thing to start off with when you're doing this method. So that's that. This is the one I showed you before, but this one I say it's only they're only about a foot long, so you can see how much colour changes you get if you're going to do a foot long. You don't get many stitches. So if you do them a lot longer, like in that ball, you'll find that you can actually do a rose, or you can make a flower or whatever with them. So that's another idea. What else have I got? Oh yeah, I didn't get round to doing this yesterday. As well as going round and round in a plain circle, you can do spirals as well. I've got 2 colours here, and this is how you can make the spiral. In this particular piece, it's actually not, it isn't going under the bridges, it's going into the top of the bridges. And I discovered this because if you do it under the bridges, then you get like little tiny bobbles all the way along, and it doesn't make a clean spiral. Maybe I'll need to come and do a workshop on this, because the way to make it a clean spiral and to go under the bridges is to actually have 4 pieces of yarn, 2 in red and 2 in green, and then you can work the reds on top of each other and then the greens on top of each other, and that way you'll get a really nice spiral. The spiral here won't turn out as such a nice spiral. So that's a good way and a good method to make your spirals. Most, I think, of what I'm talking about now we did cover yesterday, but I will go over it for you. We start off with just a plain chain to start with, and then you're going to make the bridges along that chain. The first colour here was the white, and the bridges are done in the pink, and it's the hardest row because when you come to do your slip stitch you have to go into the chain itself. When you start to do the next row and you make more rows, the original row was the pink one, then we've got the green one, and then the yellow one is on top of that. And this one is done with, it's nice and lacy and open weave because we're using 6 chain and then a slip stitch weave, and then you can start to make them smaller. And so you might make a bracelet just with those 2 colours this time, but this one's only got 4 chains and a slip stitch. And then of course when we go on to doing all those pictures, and when you start working like this, then most of these here are done with 3 chain and slip stitch. What I do find when you're working on a piece like this, which has got lots of corners, lots of edges, lots of bits to weave around, then you need to start to be a little bit more inventive. And when you come to maybe an edge like this, you're going to maybe just do 1 chain to start to turn and come back. And then sometimes you come back and then you need to come back here and do 2 chains and slip stitch, and then start as you go along here. Then most of these are 3 chain and slip stitch. But again, you have to work it in, because if you come to the edge here and you've got 3 chain to do, before you know where you are, you've got these big loopy chains around the end here you've got to hook in. And when I was doing the side here where it's black, I didn't hook underneath the loops and the bridges. I simply took hold of the side of the work with 1 loop, and so it's just joined on with 1 loop at the end. So there is a little bit more to it when you start to do things like this. Hello. Oh, I'm going outside today just for a minute or 2, and then I'm going to come back inside again. So I thought I'll start here by the door, and then as we go out you'll hear our guinea fowl. So let's have a look and see why we're going outside first of all. So that's the noise of the guinea fowl. I don't know whether you can see them, they're over there. We'll go and have a quick look. We've got the chickens there, the geese, and the guinea fowl. Okay, it's a nice day. I'll bring it back to me. And what I thought we'd do is go have a little look round. It's the spring. Oh no, it's not, it's still winter. The daffodils are just beginning to come out, which is great. So we're going to go over there towards the Airstream. I'll show you why in a minute. This is my little caravan where I do all my crochet, but because it's winter we've covered it up for the winter time, and we had a roof on our fairground cabin, fairground lounge barbecue area, but the wind blew it off in the winter, so we're going to have to put it back on again. But here we go. I'm taking you in here. The reason for that is because under here I've got some boards. Let's have a look. It's a shame I can't turn this round and see where we are. This is my crochet boards. I'm going to move this one out of the way. I store them in here because they're quite big. This is my board. It says here, look, 2-stitch crochet. So I thought I'd come in here. I was going to go and collect the board, but I think I'll leave it. And you can see what we were working on the other day with these, the bridges method really of making that headband. You can see all the bridges on there. But the strange thing enough is that all these things on this board that we're looking at here, all of them can be done with just those 2 stitches and the bridges method. So we've got the face up here, which is the subject of my next book, and that face, which hopefully people will be able to download that, and even the garland headbands, something that looks a little bit like freeform crochet there. There's my chicken. That was done, a lot of that is just done with maybe 1 chain and slip stitch or 2 chain slip stitch, so it's quite tight. This one I enjoyed doing. I set myself the task of making a cupcake, and that came out nice. There's let's see what we've got here. Yeah, there's some coral crochet, look, and that's a great thing to do. A bit more coral over here. Let's see if I can focus on that a bit. The sun's shining. Another piece of coral there, done with 2 stitches, and this one is a fun thing to do. It takes ages and a lot of yarn. That one's a wind catcher, and I suppose you could use that really in coral as well. There's another bit of coral crochet there. So I'm going to take you back inside now. We'll go back to where we were before. This is our glamping site. Shut that up. In the distance there, you just might be able to see, but the bus, that's the yellow bus that you can see over there. There, we've got a better picture of it now. And that's down the glamping site. And there's other things down there as well, near our woodland. So I'll take you back and we'll go inside. These daffodils under the trees here, look, are coming nearly out. Okay, we're back inside now. This is my kitchen. I just come through the door and we're going through into the lounge. It's quite bright in here, but I thought I'd start off by just going over the fact that I store all my yarns in these boxes, and I've been doing a bit of crochet this morning, working on my work in progress, so that's where I've had my yarns there. And another tip, if you're working in schools, of course, then how do you get all these bright colours? And what you would need to do if you've got a class maybe of 24 children, get them all to bring a different colour, and then you've got 24 colours. So that's quite a cheap way of getting all those colours. Then you might need a winding machine if you can't get the children to wind off all those balls for you. So we're back in my lounge, and I just wanted to show you, oh, there's a quick tip there. I use these bags that we get from the supermarket. They cost about 25 to 30 pence each if you're in the UK. I'm not sure whether you get them in other countries, but that's the ones I use, and that's quite, I've got so many of them, and I put my yarns in there as well. So I want to show you this picture here. This isn't a picture, it's actually crochet. Okay, so I've put it on the floor so you can see it better. I think the light's much better. This is a tapestry, really, a crocheted picture that my friend in the Philippines has made for me. That is supposed to be in the centre there with a party horn, and the children are coming to the party. That's my little caravan behind, and you can see it says Latchhook Party on the side. It's just the most amazing work. It's about 2 foot high and about 2.5 foot long, so it's quite big. And the characters in this picture are beautiful. The little dog and cat playing with a ball of yarn. The faces on the 2 children on the left are just beautiful, the way they're concentrating on doing their latch hooking there. And the children waiting in the queue to go in the caravan. The first one there having a hand up into the caravan. The characters are beautiful. The little boy in the middle there with his hands in his pocket just waiting. I think it's just the most amazing piece of crochet, and I'm really honoured to have received this from my friend. Obviously she did it in aid of what I'm trying to do, which is to involve children in crochet and get crochet art into schools. So that's something I wanted to share with you today, and I'm just so proud of it. Okay. Hi again. I just thought I'd show you my book. This arrived this week, and it's the only copy I have of it because it's just come out. This is the proof copy, so I can now send for the more books that I want to send for. And it's on Amazon, so if you want to go on there, you can buy yourself a print copy of my book. If you like, you can buy the digital copy, which is an ebook download. But you can see here, it's all about how to make the face, which we haven't covered entirely in our videos, but I have shown you how you can do 2-stitch crochet. So that's something that you might want to look forward to doing. You can see how it explains clearly how to make the face coming together there. Okay, let's have a look and see if I can just show you. Yeah, so it's shows you how to make a design of your own, and that's the one I made, so they're very similar, and that one's much easier. So that's my book. You can buy it on Amazon. Roslyn Hill, Crochet Art, Rethinking Crochet the Easy Way. So bye for now. I thought I'd finish here, look. I've put the face on the floor, and I've added, you can see it's my work in progress. I've added some hair and some flowers to it, and I thought I'd just share this with you at the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed seeing the videos and seeing me chat away to myself there. And do subscribe to my channel, YouTube channel, and now certainly pop along and see when if you manage to add this to your channel too. So thank you very much, and goodbye. Take care. Bye for now.